So let's get into today's topic, which is worry. So there's a few things to know about worry, a few things that I want to address right off the bat. First of all, worrying never changes anything. It has zero to do with any kind of outcome that you might experience. With whatever problem you're focused on or whatever situation is perplexing you, worrying will not change the outcome of anything. There's two kinds of things that you could be worrying about in that respect, and that could be worrying about something that actually has a solution that you can solve, that you can take action on. And so your energy would be much better spent taking that energy that you would use worrying and focusing on how will you take action to fix that problem. And the other kind of problem that you have is something that's beyond your control completely, and that's, sorry to say, one of the silliest things to worry about, because sometimes we are subject to the random machinations of the universe. You know, I do believe in the law of attraction. We do put out what we tend to attract, and vice versa. But some things are just genuinely out of our control, and it's important to recognize that, to have the ability to say what it is for what it is and let it go. And that is a hard thing to do. It's not very easy, but those are the two kind of things you could worry about. One means that you can take action and start doing something to find a tangible solution. Take your energy from worrying and do that instead. Or realize that something's out of your hands completely and just let it go. Worry is a choice. To be in a state of worry is absolutely a choice. Make no mistake. In every moment, like I was saying earlier, you do see something that can be something you can get your hands on and tangibly try to solve. The other kind of situation is something that may be in someone else's hands, and we may want to, in our own way of controlling things or wanting to force outcomes, try to fix it. But to worry about it, it's an absolute choice. You could say to yourself, I choose to let it go. I choose to let it go. And what's more empowering is that wording. Knowing that it is your choice and saying, I choose to let it go. Another thing about worry is that it anchors you in either the past or the present or the future. The present is not something you're really too concerned with when you're worried. You're worrying about something that has yet to pass and how that will play out. Again, you're trying to take your energy and force an outcome. And in this case, you're actually trying to force this outcome by worrying about it, as if worrying about it will make a dent somehow energetically and in a possible outcome. It does not. It never does. So it's important, again, to just let that go. And it's very important because life is so fleeting, life is so short, to really be present in the moment. As many times throughout the day as you possibly can, if you have an opportunity to be present in the moment instead of worrying about the past, which you have absolutely no control over, or worrying about the future, which, again, have no control over. If you can be in the present, if you can anchor and ground yourself in the present and appreciate where you are, look at your gratitude journal that you've been making because of the last thing that we did talk about in series number 2, which is gratitude. Look at how good your life is right now. All the wonderful things that are occurring right now in this moment. Take a page out of that book instead. It will serve you much better energetically. And the other thing about worry is it really anchors you, not only in an energy of disappointment and malcontent and maybe even sometimes despair and anxiety, but it's actually forcing your energy to be, because you're so focused on the worry, you're attracting more of what it is that you're worried about into your life. since you've made that your set point and your focal point, and you're so myopic and so linear in your thinking about this that literally all of your thoughts and obviously your emotions are concerned with worry and anxiety, what you're actually doing, because that's your fixed point, that becomes your point of attraction, you're pulling more of that into your life. You're pulling more worry-based or anxiety-based, fearful energies, believe me, negative energies that are on the negative end of the spectrum, more of that into your life. And again, it's a choice. You can choose to shift that vibrational energy at any given moment and start attracting different things into your life. Because even though I do believe that we live in a law of attraction and a law of vibration-based universe, we do still have free will. We do still have choice. And we can change our energetic vibration dependent upon that. And so with worry, not to mention all of the stress-related activities that happen, it's a stress-related emotion. So it's very disempowering when it's acute. So acute that there's a level of anxiety that you might be resonating at this energy where you're at this constant fight or flight response. And that's a response that starts a whole hormonal cascade. It starts, it's a physiological experience that you experience in your sympathetic nervous system. So it sends your autonomic nervous system and your sympathetic nervous system into chaos. And it's constantly trying to regulate itself. Unless you can stop yourself in the moment where you notice you're in that fight or flight response, you'll notice an elevated heart rate, you'll start to sweat, you might feel a very heightened level of excitability. These are all signs that you're in a fight or flight response. And this is a dangerous place to be if you're hovering in there for a while. This is meant to be some primordial response to being chased by a tiger, and instead, in our daily life now, it becomes this response that we have maybe several times a day or several times a week, depending on the kind of stress-related lifestyle that you live. And so over time, it affects things like heart rate, and it can affect your heartbeat. It can affect your immune response, which, believe me, in the time that we live in now, you want your immune to be tip-top. You want it to be running at peak performance. So if you feel yourself entering into that fight or flight response, nip it in the bud, shift your vibration. Think of what's in your gratitude journal. Think of anything. Look at a smiling, laughing baby. It'll help to snap you out of it. So when you're in a state of worry, you can't find peace. You may be chewing over the same problem, the same conversation that you had with someone that was giving you a lot of anxiety or worry, or you may be chewing over the same occurrence, something that happened that, again, you have no control over, or something that's going to happen. Say you have a big meeting where you're going to be presenting, and you hate presenting to an audience, and it's very, very disconcerting to you. You can't find peace until you're able to let that go, until you're able to let that worry go. And in order to let go, you must be in the present moment. You must find a way to anchor yourself in the present moment. And so the tips and the techniques and the practices that I'm about to give you have everything to do with that, about getting yourself grounded and being in the present moment. The best way to do that, right off the bat, is to connect with your breath. I have a blog post that's worth checking out. You can go to my website on catherineMassell.com, and under the More tab, there's a blog page. All kinds of good blogs on there, so please do check it out. But there's a blog post that is titled, "Don't Forget to Breathe." It's just good advice. And what's in there is a way to kind of snap you out of things in a moment. And in that moment where you feel yourself in that fight or flight response, if that's something that happens several times in your day, it'd be worth checking out this blog post and reading. So after you learn how to get in the present moment, and connecting with the breath is really, really important. Even if you just give yourself 4 or 5 seconds to focus on the breath, the even rising and falling of your chest or your stomach, just snap yourself out of anything. And you can take 5 seconds and do that. It's very easy. So when you learn how to get into the present moment in that way, you can take it even further. And the way I always tell my clients to take it further, because I can't extol the virtues of meditation enough, I tell them to find a way to make time for meditation practice. I can't say enough how great it is. Even if you give yourself 10 minutes a day to do it, to focus on the breath, tune everything out, unless you have a really hard time doing that. And so in that case, I do recommend that if you can't tune out, and you can't tune out the monkey chatter or the mental chatter, find some good meditation music. YouTube is just, there's an endless list of music that you can use to meditate to. Something that really helps to calm you and really energetically shift the vibration of your brain and your mind. You can find binaural beats, which actually help to regulate the heart rate and can really help the mind enter into a calmer state. Solfeggio rhythms, which are they're considered to be the lost chords or notes, keynotes, and the Gregorian monks use these notes, these solfeggio rhythms, when they chant. And they're a very great way to connect with a deeper part of yourself, the more spiritual part of yourself, and with the universe. Doing yoga helps you connect with the present moment. Obviously, there's some great moves that you can do for yoga to help you lighten your mood, and any form of exercise is going to help you release endorphins and be in the present moment. Doing yoga poses really helps because not only do you connect with your breath, but you have to focus on the moves. Some of them can be difficult, and you really do have to be present and in the moment to do them. Flower essences, feverfew, that cleanses deep worry and anxiety. So that's really good in that respect. Red clover is another good one. Coral pink rose is great if you are so consumed with future worries that you can't let go. Coral pink rose is a great one for that. Essential oils to use in your diffuser. Roman chamomile is great for just helping. It's a wonderful sedative and antidepressant, helping you to be in the moment. Bergamot, if you like the more citrus-based oils. Pink grapefruit is excellent too. That's more of a euphoric scent, and I love using that. It's very open, very freeing. Rose otto, lavender, of course, our good friend lavender, which is, let's face it, it's good for everything. Foods, you're going to want to ingest more high in vitamin B foods. Leafy greens or oranges, nuts, legumes, definitely eggs, especially if you can get omega-3 enriched eggs, really, really great. So anything high in B vitamins. And, you know, if you want to lose the caffeine, I know I am stating the obvious here, but sometimes people don't get it, that if you consume a lot of caffeine, it's really going to increase your level of anxiety or even worry in your life. So if you can do decaf green tea, and even better herbal tea, chamomile tea, if you don't have a ragweed allergy, chamomile tea is wonderful. Also lemon balm, very, very calming. And obviously, if you have persistent worry and anxiety, if any of these tips can help you, that's great. But if they don't, you're going to want to be seen by a doctor, because obviously there's something deeper at work there. And if you can't take the time to meditate on what the problem might be, often that helps when you meditate. Have your mantra be, what am I really worried about? What's the core of this worry? And have that be what you focus on during meditation. So I hope that's been helpful to you. I will see you next time. We're going to be talking about how to turn negative thoughts into positive. Love and light.